Well, look at you, Buckaroo, coming back to see what I'm doing. I'm hoping these videos inspire you to try a little something new. I only got 10 minutes from start to finish. So hit that bell and subscribe, and please share as much as you like. All right, so today we are talking about gesso. Gesso, you know, the subject is gesso. What do you want to play with gesso? What do you want to gesso? There's clear gesso. I like to use Liquitech brand. You experiment with whichever brand you like and just stay with that. There's clear gesso, there's white gesso, and there is black gesso. Why do you need gesso? Why would you want to use gesso, you ask? Well, what do you want to play with gesso? Why do you want to gesso? Gesso stiffens your paper. It prepares your canvas, or primes your canvas. It helps prepare your paper for the media that you're going to be using on it, such as oils, pastels, acrylic paint, watercolor. It's non-yellowing. You can use gesso on paper, wood, and any kind of non-oily surface. You can apply the gesso, let it dry, and then sand it in between so that it's smooth, and do another layer and sand it in between and another layer until you are achieving the look that you want. You can use gesso to help cover things or knock it in an image towards the background. So yeah, it's great to work with, and you definitely want to have this in your toolbox. You are going to love it. So whenever you are gessoing or painting or working in your journal with a wet medium, you want to protect your other pages and put a sheet of paper or a piece of wax paper or something between the pages on either both sides if you're working on both sides. So that's what I'm doing here, protecting the other page. As you can see, I've already marked off where I put some white gesso. I don't have anything here in the middle, and I put clear gesso down at the bottom. With the white gesso, you're definitely going to have a lot of texture, and with the clear gesso, it doesn't give you as much texture, but they both are very gritty. And again, because it's got tooth, it's got character. All right, so let me show you some examples of the looks that you're going to achieve. So I'm going to put a little, this is acrylic paint, and a little water, and I'm just going to go straight down the page, nothing spectacular. Then I'm going to blend it out just so you can see a little bit how right now you don't really see much of a difference of anything. It's when it dries that you really want to see that. All right, let's try a little watercolor. All right, it's a little watercolor. Again, I'll blend that out some. Now, depending on the type of paper that you're using, your paper will probably buckle a little bit. This is a thin paper. If you're using mixed media paper, you probably do not need to put gesso on there unless you just like the texture that it's providing. All right, this is a Jane Davenport Mermaid marker. It is a water-soluble ink, and I love them because the colors are so very vibrant. So let's get rid of this paint. All right, I'm just going to dry this real quick, Okay, these are now dry. Let me see if I could zoom in a little bit to show you what that looks like. So with the white gesso up at the top, I don't know if you can see some of the texture showing through. The color still looks very vibrant for both of them. Where it's blank at, now with the acrylic paint, if you move fast when there's when you don't have a protected surface with the acrylics, you can still achieve an okay look with that in watercolor. But again, it's going to absorb mostly in the paper. And as you can see with the mermaid marker, that paper, I couldn't, what's the word? Couldn't blend it very well. And then once it's dry, you can't move it that much. Whereas up here, I can still move it. You see what I mean? And with the clear gesso, there's not a lot of texture that you see underneath. So if you're looking for something smooth, the clear gesso would be a good option for you. And again, you can still move these colors on top of this clear gesso. Now, not with the acrylic paint, because when that dries, it's pretty much staying right where it is. All right, now let's zoom out. How do you apply it? You can always apply it with a brush if you like, but I like applying it with a, well, where is it? Here we go. With an old credit card or piece of scrap cardboard or something, and I just scrape, scrape, scrape. I don't do it in a uniform way. I like to just crisscross scrape. I like to have a little texture in it. That's just how I do it. Please apply it the way that you like, because you are trying to achieve a certain look. And if you're not sure because you're just starting out and you're experimenting, just slap that puppy on there. Okay, so that's how you apply it. You let it dry. If you want to sand it down and put more on there, you're definitely welcome to do that. Here's another quick tip before we end. Say you have a page that you're not so happy with and you want to just knock that back in the background. You want to add a little, I'm just going to do it on half of this on one side. You can apply it, like I said, you can apply it with a brush if you like, or how I like to do it. Just scrape, scrape, scrape. You could put it on thick, you could put it on thin. All right, so, but you could see the difference in brushing it on, more uniform, crisscrossing it, but take a look at how translucent that is. Also, is a guest appearance with acrylic white paint. I love using this to also achieve the similar look, but with a little bonus. And I usually like to put mine on with a small brayer. And you're just going to go over the image and let that dry. Okay, so these are now dry. This is the brushed on white gesso, and then this was the haphazardly put on gesso with that card. But as you can see, you can still see underneath, and of course this is with the acrylic, which is more opaque, and the gesso is always thinner than acrylic paint. But it really knocks that image back, so something to keep in mind. But also, with the acrylic paint, if you use any water soluble on top, you can still blend it out. It's not going to disturb what's underneath at all. So you could do your distress inks if you want on top, or watercolors, but when you are using those mediums on top of, this is dye inks underneath, they are going to blend. So anyway, there you go. That's it for today. That was Just So You Know.